Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to MTGO Traders. My name is Taryn, and this is Minotaur Tribal 2.0 in Hour of Devastation Standard. Hour of Devastation is officially here, and some of the decks that became possible with Amonkhet just got so much better with the inclusion of new cards in Hour of Devastation. One of those decks is this one, Minotaur Tribal. I would call this Minotaur Madness now, as there are more cards that allow for discard, triggering madness. But before I get into the deck tech, make sure to like the video and subscribe to MTGO Traders for more deck techs, gameplay videos, and streaming in the near future. It helps us know you care. So let's not waste time and get right into the deck. Like the previous deck, we've got this fantastic playset of a 2-drop, Bloodrage Brawler, a usual turn 3 play as you're discarding madness cards. This 4/3 beater gives your opponent a 5-turn clock if they don't spend removal on it. But one more playset of 2-drops alongside the Brawler is Burning-Fist Minotaur. This card is literally insane. A 2-mana 2/1 first striker is great, but being able to throw your hand away to trigger madness or empty your hand for Neheb's trigger is just amazing. This Hour of Devastation inclusion was heavily needed, as the 3-mana drop slot of Minotaur Tribal was a bit lacking. This speeds up your board and helps you get in even quicker and more reliably. And of course, the last playset of 2-drops in the deck is Metallic Mimic. This card again does work. It makes your 2-drops better and helps warn a removal spell in the early game, so you can feel more confident in playing out your bombs throughout the match. Moving on to 3-drops, we've got the sick Ahn-Crop Crasher. While being a 3/2 hasty creature, the exert ability here is what ends games. Usually in the Minotaur matchup, all you need is 2 or 3 more points of damage to win. This helps you out so you can get in and get 2 O's easily. Just gross. Another new card to include here that I replaced Minotaur Sure Shot with is 2 Grisly Survivors. This 3-mana 2/3 doesn't seem great at the onset, but having a 4/3 or a 6/3 in the mid-game can help trade or end a match. Thanks to all the cards we're pitching to the graveyard, this card can swing a game wildly. And lastly, the Lord of the Minotaurs, Neheb the Worthy. This of course gives all of your Minotaurs first strike, which is incredibly difficult to deal with. It also becomes a pump spell later in the match, but not only that, it gives you a madness discard outlet. Just insane. A playset here. Now, Neheb the Eternal was considered for this deck, but I decided against it, as I wanted to make sure we had a viable removal suite, so our creatures could get in turn over turn and finish up a game. So only 22 creatures in total in the main board. Moving on to spells. At the 1-drop slot, we have the classic Fatal Push and Magma Spray. This deals with early game threats and Teamer Energy, Martyr Vehicles, and can even kill a Heart of Kieran with Fatal Push. While I know Fatal Push is the reason this deck is a bit more on tickets, it's something I would always recommend. Magma Spray also deals with recurring creatures, and if you're dealing with a god, trade with a creature and exile with Magma Spray. Need more help? We'll look to sideboard for that. But moving up to the 3-mana spells, we've got a double copy of Alms of the Vein. One of the things that you run into with this deck is the need to have that 2 or 3 more points of life for yourself or the opponent, as you're trading blows back and forth. Alms of the Vein helps with that, and since you're discarding so many cards, this is usually a 1-mana 3-life swing. To round out playsets and spells, we've got a playset of Fiery Temper and Unlicensed Disintegration. Creature removal is important, and having Metallic Mimic and the next card on the field means our opponent is more likely to take another 3 damage. Also, Fiery Temper is usually just 1 red mana thanks to our discard outlets. So dirty to bring out a Lightning Bolt just for playing our deck. The last 2 cards in the deck is, of course, Key to the City. Again, a great discard outlet, but also a game ender, and offers decent card draw in the mid to late game. Do not underestimate Key to the City. It is a great card. Finishing up our main board, we've got 22 lands. You may actually be able to have less lands thanks to the lower mana curve here, but that's up to you. Having lands as a discard outlet if you don't need them is always gravy. 2 Aether Hub for mana fixing, 3 Foreboding Ruins, 3 Smoldering Marsh, 6 Swamp, and 8 Mountain. This mana base is fairly even. A great opening can be this: 1 Mountain, 1 Swamp, 1 Smoldering Marsh or Foreboding Ruins, 1 Metallic Mimic, 1 Bloodrage Brawler, 1 Fiery Temper, and 1 Key to the City. This sets up your board, provides removal, and sets up your following plays so you can speed up your draws. Just fantastic. As for sideboards go, this is fairly simple. Of course, a sideboard depends on your meta, but this is a safe, covering all the bases type of sideboard. We've got 2 Abrade for additional removal or artifact hate, 2 Transgress the Mind for the control matchup to help get rid of or deal with Torrential Gearhulks and all that, 2 Lost Legacy to deal with new perspective matchups and other matchups where decks only have 1 or 2 creatures, like control, 2 Sweltering Suns to deal with decks that go wide like zombies and tokens, 2 Hour of Glory to deal with Hour of Devastation gods and subsequent gods, as well as deal with difficult creatures like Glorybringer, 1 Hour of Devastation because board wipes in red are just silly. This also again deals with indestructible creatures, 2 Insult Injury to help close the game out more quickly or get through the fogs of new perspective decks, and finally 2 Never to Return for Planeswalker removal and exiling cards like Scrap Heap Scrounger. And that is the full 75. Gameplay videos will be coming out soon for this deck, so hold out until then. But for now, let me know what you think of the deck. It's fairly cheap, coming to about 45 tickets on mtgotraders.com. Have a lot of cards already? Then this deck is pennies for the new insert cards. Have anything else to put in here? I know the biggest complaint may be that this deck is weak to flyers, but with such an aggressive removal speed, I think we'll be just fine. But let me know in the comments below. Again, like the video if you liked it, and subscribe to MTGO Traders for more videos like this in the future. I'll see you guys in the next video.